Hey, hello, Eilton.
Hello, hi Hong Taek.
How are you, man?
Good, good. Thanks for having me in this in your talk show. Definitely a
No,
privilege to be here also.
hey, no problem, man, no problem. But you are very hard to get, so we are very privileged to have you finally. I think after months of trying to get your
Yes,
time, we know
yes.
you are a very busy person, so but we are very happy that you can come on board.
Of course.
Okay,
Never too busy to do some sharing also. Yeah. Thanks
yeah,
for
good, good.
inviting.
Okay, anyway, just want to welcome all those who are. Might just drop. Okay,
I saw that.
this
That
is
was
a
nice.
informal
It's good.
sharing.
It's good. Very candid. I think it's
Very
good.
candid. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to welcome all of you who just come on board. This is our Dreamers meeting episode number 28. So
Wow,
every
28.
yes, so every last Thursday night we will come on. Okay, as a Dreamers tribe, we come in to learn about how to pursue our dreams. So today, very privileged to have my friend. Okay, a friend for many years. Cannot count already how many years. Okay.
Yes, many years.
Yeah, I've known him since we served in the same department, same ministry in the church, in the children's ministry. I remember
Children's
he
ministry.
was
Yes.
taking care of the older kids, and he's such a passionate teacher. The kids love him, Teacher Elton, and today we have him here to share with us about how he navigate his life towards his dream career. Okay, so okay, why I invited you, Elton, is because even when I first know you, I know you're a very passionate person, and you're a very driven person. We know that so we can't keep you for too long because you always have greater things to do.
Oh.
So I think from that I can see in your life how now you become a business owner. Okay, you have a wealth management firm under
Yep.
your name, right? Eilton Ho, wealth management
Wealth
firm.
management. Yeah.
So just want to find out your how you navigate your career. Okay, but
Okay.
before we do that, just get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Maybe share a little bit about yourself, your childhood,
Sure.
or whatever you want to, kickstart this conversation.
Sure. I think it's good. I literally just ended work, right? And then I rushed home. I drove home. So sorry, Hong Taek, that I have to delay and all that, but it's okay. I think all is good. At least now we can do some sharing also lah.
Yeah, better late than never.
Of course, yeah. Um, Currently I am happily married with a 3-year-old boy, 3+ year old. He's gonna turn 4 this year
Wow.
in 8th of November. Time flies, right?
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
when how old did I meet Hong Taek? I think back then when I was in poly, I think roughly around 17, 18 years old, thereabout, or even maybe earlier than that. No, and now I'm 36. Can you imagine that? Yeah,
Yes.
but Hong Taek
How old
don't
am
age.
I?
It's a secret, it's a secret. Yeah. So I think back then when I was a student, right? In secondary school, in high school equivalent, I don't think I'm a very, very bright child at all,
Mm,
ever since maybe primary school.
mm,
I think my family is average in terms of income, in terms of the opportunities that's given. I think it's very, very average.
mm,
I didn't have the opportunity to learn piano. I
mm,
wasn't exposed to a lot of all these things because my mom was a full-time homemaker and my dad, a homemaker, I mean being housewife, and my dad was, just a full-time employee, but wasn't fetching a lot of money, right? A lot of bacon back
mm,
home.
mm,
Also because that generation didn't have much of an education. I think my father's education was only at secondary school. I think didn't even graduate from secondary school.
mm,
So I think in terms of the limitations of bringing us to enrichment classes and all that, I don't think that was existent at all.
mm,
But I think we made the best out of childhood lah. I mean, back then it was all about play for me, right?
mm,
I would just go out, hang out with friends all the way. Primary school it was still okay. Primary school, my mom has quite a strong control over me, and
right.
I had some fear on with her as well, which is good, right? So that it's easier for her to disciple me. I think in the past, if you ask me to in a way take risk and do dangerous things like how the cooler boys and the cooler guys are doing, I probably won't dare to do it because at the back of my head, my parents will be scolding me already and will be warning me against that.
Okay.
For example, or learning skateboarding, and things like that. And then our alarm bells will ring in my mind and would tell
Mm,
me that, don't go there, don't do that, because mommy and daddy's gonna scold you, when you get home, if they realize that. So much so that I remember I was primary one. I think the initial few months of my class and my school, my parents told me before not to buy Yakult or Vitagen because I'm only given 50 cents every day in primary one.
Okay.
But back then, 50 cents, I think it's also not super big, lah, but I can get maybe a
Right.
decent meal and all that.
Okay.
But I think there was one day that I accumulated and I saved up a little bit of money. And that's where with that amount of money, I managed to buy that Vitagen and Yakult, right?
Mm.
And then I because I didn't know the taste of it, right?
Mm.
And when I go to the uncle in the canteen, in the school canteen, I pass the money and then I took the bottle, and then the uncle say, "Oh, you know, it comes with a free gift, a free
Wow.
toy for you. So I'm just gonna pass it to you." You know what did I do? I
Right.
rejected the toy. I say, "No, I don't want that because that would be evidence for me, for my parents to find out that actually I bought a Yakult and Vitagen
I see.
where yeah, where actually I wasn't given a permission to do so. So I was
Right.
in a way I mean in a way parent fearing lah, I would say. Yeah,
Okay.
to that extent, right? I think it's ridiculous, right? We just get a toy lah, but I can still remember this memory
Yeah.
very vividly, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that started in a way being a good boy per se lah. But I mean,
Okay.
studies wise, I think it was quite normal
Mm.
until when I move on to maybe around primary 5, primary 6. I don't think the score for my I don't think my score leaving school exam, right? That was the PSLE. I don't think it's very, very good. I mean, to be exact, I mean, I'm very open to it, right? I can just tell you what the number is, 207. I still remember until today.
Okay.
207. It's not very fantastic. People are getting 2-3 something and all that. But because there was affiliation between my primary school and secondary school, so that's where with a 207, I still managed to go to an express stream, which I wanted to because I didn't want to, spend more time in secondary school, right? I was quite thankful.
Okay.
And there in the secondary school, that's where I think a lot of focus, a lot of time was spent in playing like LAN games. Back then, Counter-Strike, CS, if you still remember, it was very,
It
very
wasn't my
popular.
time. I think it's your time.
Obviously, it wasn't your time, but it's probably your kid's time. I don't know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that was how I spent my childhood, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your parents actually brought you up to be a bit more guarded, a bit more,
Yeah.
scared. But
Guarded,
then, yeah.
which also is quite surprising why I became, in a way, a sort of a risk taker, courageous enough to take some risk in life. I think there is some link in between. Maybe later
Yeah.
I'll share a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think with that, how do you find then all the faith to do what you are doing right now? And I remember the time where what I really very impressed about your life is that you are a leader. Okay, I mean, you may not see yourself then. Okay, I know that time, even though you were very playful, right? But there's still a lot of insecurities in you, I think. And then during the time when the church wanted to raise funds, I think you gather a group of people to enter.
Yeah.
I don't know what competition it is, to cram as many people into a car. And if you're a team that can cram as many in the car, right, you win the prize. And then you won the prize for the church, right? And then you sold the car for that. So that was very impressive. How do you get the courage to actually organize something like that? And then, what motivates you to do that?
Yeah, I think it's an excellent question, actually. So as I continue on, right, secondary school, and then I just wanted to, in a way, do something for myself, right? Make a name for myself. I wouldn't say make a name for myself, but I think I would say that make a difference, make an impact in a community, that I've grown up in since I was 14 years old. Right now I'm 36, right? So ever since 14 years old, I've been growing up in this Hope community with all the very good friends, and basically we grew up together, right? So I was just thinking, I've taken so much from this community. During my younger days, I've been trained, because before Sec 2, I was just lost about the whole world, right? I was just lost about what I want to do in my life. Can you imagine a primary 6, a Sec 1 person, just being very lost in a sense that it studies everything, is school really everything that I need to do. And in the past, I used to be quite you could never guess this, I was actually quite introverted. Yeah, you could have never guessed, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, I was in a way being ostracized by some of my secondary school friends.
Right.
Yeah, until I came to know of this Hope Church, Hope community, and that's where this is the community that I've always wanted to be in, but I have not found it. And finally, in Hope community, I found people who genuinely and sincerely care for you and love you. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So that's where, because I've grown up since 14 years old and I wanted to contribute back to the church, the very community that has, in a way, helped me through and taught me things and all that. I have good mentors around. I have good shepherds around as well, along the way, that corrected me bravely and courageously, corrected me to make me to become the kind of gentleman I am today, in that sense. Of course, there's room for improvement, but we always learn new things, right? So I think that was back in my uni days. I think it was year 2 of my NUS days where I saw this opportunity.
Yeah.
Actually, I've always have this, in a way, this flair of looking out for all these opportunities like lucky draw competition and contest. I was actually quite actively doing those, but a lot of times I'm doing it personally, which means that, or it's just for personal gain, or some they give a free phone or things like that. I'll go for those. And then this opportunity came about, and then I was thinking, it cannot be always about me, right? It must be something for the community, right? Then I think then that was where there was a church building fund back then where we needed to raise funds and all that. So that's where I see this as an opportunity. And then I see that actually I have an added advantage because I know people in church. I know some networking. I know of people who are skinny enough to squeeze into the car. And obviously I wasn't one of them that squeezed in the car. I was just a leader from outside, right? And we didn't have much of a practice, actually. I wanted to rent a car, but financially not very capable to do that. But we just simulated how it would be if a car was there. And literally just half an hour before that competition, we just hang out in the car park and then we just simulate accordingly. And yeah, I think it's all in a way miraculous to be able to squeeze there is 2 rounds, right? First round is squeezing 26 people. So we are actually squeezing the most people in the car. Can you imagine a Nissan March? You can Google that model.
Yeah, it's a small car, right?
It's a very small car. It's a hatchback. Doesn't even have the boot. Yeah, if you still remember,
right? the picture, right, of how you all just went in. Wow, in such a short time.
Then the second round is we squeeze 16 people because we have to compete with other teams, right? So other teams, we have to find the minimum quantity, which is 16. So everybody is on par. So 16 squeeze in the fastest time. So we managed to squeezing within, I think, 6 to 7 seconds.
Wow.
Just like that. And then we won the car. And then with the car, we sold it. In fact, we sold it back to Nissan because there is no COE, right? And nobody will want to buy a COE with that. All this competition. But anyway, we sold it back to the church. And the rest is history, church building fund. Yeah.
Wow. Good job. Okay, guys, if you are watching, right, have you ever fit 16 people in a car? Okay. Maybe for those of you in Myanmar, you all have. But in modern day, in Singapore, right, hardly you see something like this happen. Okay.
Hardly.
Eilton, we just saw leadership in action there. Okay. And then another thing you share about always looking out for opportunities. I realized the few things that you shared earlier, right, is about looking out for opportunity, even buying the Yakult, right? Opportunity to buy the Yakult, not to be caught. So making the most of tight limitations and all the obstacles given to you, right? You tend to look for opportunities. So okay, that's why I want to ask you next now, like about your career. Okay, about your career. So after secondary school, what goes through your mind about what you really want to do in your life, and how do you go about navigating that? Okay.
Right. Okay. So in secondary school, in terms of the results, I think I'm also normal lah. Like I took my O levels. I don't think my results was good enough for me to go to junior college, JC. So I have to go to a polytechnic, right? So I had to study 3 years to get a diploma. Now thinking back, in hindsight, I think that was a very good experience in poly. I could have not traded for anything else. Yeah. That decision actually made me, in a way, mature faster, and also to learn a lot more practical things, when it comes to diploma. So back then I was just deciding what I love, and back then it was in IT, in computing, right, information technology. So I took up a diploma in that. I loved it. Less the programming part lah. I don't really like the programming part because it's not my language. It's a computer language, so I don't really like that. But I like the rest of that. And then after that, I graduated from my poly, right? And then after that, onwards to NS and all that. So I'll just keep NS for now. For that, I mean, explain the NS, because NS is quite typical in that sense in Singapore. After the NS, my poly result was okay. So, but I didn't want to move on and advance in the same discipline in IT, because like I said, I didn't like the IT part, right? Sorry, I didn't like the programming part.
Right.
So, and then I can just picture, if I'm going to go to a university to study computing, definitely I cannot skip the programming part. So I have a little bit of fear in that.
Okay.
So I just felt that, oh, maybe I should take another discipline. So I took business altogether. So I took business, and then eventually in NUS, and then eventually I specialized in finance. So because of that decision that I made to specialize in finance, because finance is one of the harder specialization that people would usually take. People usually take HR, marketing, yeah, and because those are easy, right? Just read the textbook. So, but finance is very objective, right? It's about calculation, formulas, and all that.
Right.
So with that, I took that courage. Initially, I was just specializing in HR. I took level 3 modules, and then I was just telling myself, I think I don't need to come to a university to study HR, right? To specialize in HR. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I think HR is important, but really there are even non-HR graduates that is taking up HR jobs. So I don't think you really need a degree per se. Right. But really, I just asked myself if I really wanted something that is a bit more practical, I can practice in the real world. So finance was really something that I in a way enjoy doing, even though I was fearful initially, but I took the courage, I took it anyway. So I took 6 level 3 modules, which is a specialization requirement. Right. And really the rest is history, right? I took the finance, and here I am having a wealth management firm, managing all this investments, insurance for clients and all that. So I think there is some sort of an interlink, but obviously between my university and my current career, in between I was in the Air Force, and I'm sure you know about that as well.
Yes, I remember once you say that when we have a group sharing, right? What you want to do when you're older, in a sense, you mentioned about wanting to fly, right?
Yes, I wanted to
fly. So is that why you went into the Air Force?
Yes, you're right. So I went to the Air Force, and I tried flying. I went to the air grading in Australia. Unfortunately, I failed the first practical test. I literally flew So they were testing me, and it was not easy, not as easy as you thought, because military flying, grading, and versus those normal leisure recreational pilot grading, it's totally different, right?
It's different. Okay.
Yeah. So because of that, the requirements are higher for military. So I didn't meet the standard, obviously. So I came back to Singapore, and then I asked myself if I want to continue this career, maybe with a different vocation. So I did, right? So I became a tower controller instead. Yeah. And being a tower controller, I think there is no regrets at all. It taught me skills like multitasking. I talked to different agency, different aircraft at the same time. I multitask in that way. And I'm able to, in a way, compartmentalize my thoughts very well. And in sequence as well, I know what's the next thing to do. If that aircraft land, another aircraft is going to be sequenced in and all those things. And mind you, we're not talking about commercial planes. We are talking about fighter jets, fast moving. Even though they're small, but they're fast moving, right? I want to make sure that they are safe in my tower, in my aerodrome, so to make sure that they land safely and they take off safely subsequently as well. So that is really my job, lah. Yeah.
Okay. How long were you in the NS? For the sake of those people who are listening, right? And NS is our national service in Singapore. All the boys have to actually go in and serve for 1.5 years, right?
2 years.
Oh, sorry, for 2 years. And then thereafter, some of you get options to sign on. That means you will continue your career. And I know that you sign on as well. So share with us, how long were you in the Air Force, and what makes you sign on, and what happened after that? Okay.
So other than the university part, because after the 2 years NS, I went to university because I was on a scholarship by the Air Force. So I took up a scholarship. They paid for my university fee. They gave me a certain monthly allowance. And then after I graduated, I have to go back and serve my bond, right? My bond was 4 years. So all in all, as a career in the Air Force, as an Air Force officer, I was there for 8 years, thereabout. Yeah. So 8 years, and really, I think it's a good experience. I think it's an experience that not many people can go through, but I'm glad I did. So yeah.
Okay. So after that, you step out and sort of pursue your real dream, right? Which is in the finance.
Right. Yeah. In a way, my ultimate dream was actually being an entrepreneur, right? And obviously, entrepreneurship and military there is no link at all, right?
Okay.
And
you can start your own Air Force.
Maybe.
Private Air Force. Okay.
Air Force.
Okay. They were
But my
took
dream
aside.
of wanting to fly a plane is still existing now, really.
Okay.
So eventually, I would want to get my small plane license, like pilot license, eventually, and then just fly recreationally. Yeah, that is really my ultimate goal. It's expensive, lah, I know, but now I don't have time because I need to raise my kid, right? I mean, I'm hoping for more kids. Myself, I'm planning for more kids in terms of family planning. So maybe by then, when I'm a bit more, when my kids are a bit more grown up, then that's something that I want to pursue down. That is really in my pipeline of bucket dream, if you ask me.
Right.
So yeah. So sorry, your question is?
So I can't remember what my question is.
Okay,
but...
don't worry about it. So I think throughout that journey, I finished my bond. I did it for one more year before I step out to do my entrepreneurship.
Right.
Because for very practical reason, I need to stay in the regular force in order for me to have a military wedding, where Hong Taek was there as well. If you still remember, I was wearing my #1 white color, uniform and all that. Yeah, for my wedding. And Hong Taek was there to
I share the exhortation.
Exaltation,
something
exactly.
like that, or okay.
No, it is exactly that. Yeah, you shared our exaltation because you have literally seen me grown up, right? Back then. So in all, in a sense, I would say that this decision, every step that I took, right, I gave myself many chance, even after I fail, even after I fall. You remember I told you about me failing the test, back in Australia, right? I failed a flying test. I couldn't be a military pilot anymore. It was a done deal, right? I cannot, it's irreversible. I cannot just retake a test over again. I'm done with that. So I revocated. So I have to go through this thing called the ATC course, right? Air traffic control course. And it's again something like programming. It's just languages that is not really English string together in that sense. It's just concise, quick, and straight to the point. So that was what I'm trained in, right? And obviously I wasn't so used to it, right? I'm just used to normal person talking, not the ATC way. So ATC way is very short bursts of words, right? And very precise words, very precise meaning. So I struggled initially during that theory part, during the practical part. Practical part is what, like, I have to control the aircraft in the radar. It's a lot of multitasking. I'm telling one aircraft to turn, and then I have to keep track in my mind. And then just telling another aircraft in the same vicinity to do another action altogether, to climb, to descend, to turn left and turn right. And mind you, it's not like driving, just left or right, front and reverse. It's 360 degree, literally, right? So I nearly gave up. I nearly gave up in my ATC course. So I was just telling my course, I remember that it was Chinese New Year. I was telling my instructor, I said that, sorry, I don't think this is my cup of tea. I don't think I can continue this course anymore. Please bring me back to army.
Okay.
And my instructor told me this. He said, I will give you the weekends to think about this. I can see your potential. You just need to try harder than somebody else, than your other classmates. So he gave me that long weekend to think about that. And then during the weekend, it was the longest weekend ever, right? Because I have to think of all these things. And I asked myself, if it's so easy for me to give up just like that, then I think I will give up a lot of things in life down the road, which is not what I want to be used to do, right? So I told myself, never mind, just bite the bullet. How hard can it be, right? Yes, throughout the previous courses, people has failed, but most have passed. If they can do it, I can definitely do it too, right? I'm no different than them, right? I may not be as smart as them, but if I'm able to put in more effort, I think I'm able to reach to that standard, at least to the standard of pass, right? Throughout this ATC course. So that's where on the next working day, I went back to the instructor. I said, okay, sir, I'm just going to continue the course and I'm going to work hard and I'm going to make sure that I pass. Until today, I'm still in touch with that instructor,
Wow.
Yeah, he's retired from the force already. I'm still in touch with him. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's one of the many milestones role model, I would say, that really encouraged me to move on, encouraged me to go on and fight on. I mean, he wasn't a man with many wise words, but he was a man with very practical steps in how to improve myself. So that was that. And thank God, right? I did that, because if not, then I think my life and whatever my directions now would be totally different. I'm guessing. Yeah.
So the power of persevering,
Yeah.
power of pushing even when around you, and
Yeah.
having. I think you mentioned a lot about community just now, and now you're talking about this mentor of yours, having someone around you to
Yes.
push you forward lah.
Yes.
Because sometimes as as a young person, right? I was young before, so I mean, we don't like people to tell us what to do, correct? Right? We like, okay, we have our own way
Own
of doing
thoughts.
things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think what you share is important.
Yeah,
Persevering is one thing, but having people around you to push you forward also is important.
You're right. You're right to say that, and at the same time, staying grounded is important. Yeah, staying
Okay.
grounded and staying very real to yourself, not to give yourself too much of a lofty dream out there. I mean, it's okay to dream big, right? But I think at the end of the day, a dream is a dream, right? But
Yeah.
a goal is something that you can work towards. A dream you can only dream in the
Yeah.
daytime, right? But if there's no steps and there's no effort, it is just a dream. It is not your goal. So you must convert your dream to a goal. And only when you do that, then you are able to quantify the steps and efforts towards that goal.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when I left the force, it was quite uncertain for me, right? Can you imagine from an employee that is quite comfortable in terms of the salary, I have to come out and then do my own thing.
Yeah.
There's a wealth management. So that's
let me capture that. Well, I think you said something very profound just now, that every dream should have steps, right? Should be converted into goals.
Yes.
If not, you just remain dreams. Okay.
Exactly.
Say that again.
You're the admin, right? Okay. So I always believe that it's okay to have dreams, right? It's okay to dream big and all that. But dreams are just dreams. If you don't convert it into a goal, you can never achieve that. Because in order for you to quantify the steps and the efforts, then you need to make sure that the goal is there for you and you can see it. And if you can see it, you can work towards it. And if you can work towards it, you will find all ways and means, by hook or by crook, to get there. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's powerful. Thanks, Eilton, sharing all your dreams. I remember there was another dream of yours. You wanted to be a drummer.
Drummer, right?
Yeah, I remember drummer. And you play for our children church
at that time,
yes. The drummer, right? Yeah. So do you still want to be a drummer, or has that?
Yeah. I'm still actively participating in the music industry in church. Music industry in church.
Okay.
Now I play the cajon.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not yet committed into the full-fledged drums. If you still remember, I went for the exchange. After exchange, I came back. I think there was a paradigm shift in terms of my priority and what I want to do. So that's why I took a break from being a drummer. I did play main service as a drummer. I remember back in uni days. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So man of many dreams, right? But also a man that is very practical, because he knows this thing about converting dreams into goals and then taking practical steps. Okay, talk about that. I think you're in a very good place. I think because I'm also one of your client, and I can see how you serve me and how you always keep me updated.
Yes.
And I think with your company, recently you hired an entire movie theater, right?
Oh yes.
To give your clients a treat. Okay, you don't have to, right? You don't have to, right? It's, I think, your own money, right?
Yes, I don't have to, but I would love to,
You love to, right?
I have to.
So yeah, I think just seeing your passion to pursue your dreams and the different ways you go about doing it, right? I think you really have applied some very important principles to find success in your dream. Okay, let's talk a bit more about your finance dream, like this dream that you're currently pursuing. Share with me what are the guiding principles, how you pursue this dream, right? How do you build your company to where it is right now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just like I told you, right, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I think the closest link there is to an entrepreneur in terms of my specialization in university will be in finance, right? Okay. So I was just thinking, why not I bring myself towards that goal, right? In managing my clients' wealth. And obviously, in order for you to do that, you have to have certain qualification and certifications, right? So we have to take certs and courses and tests. We have to make sure we pass 4 papers ish under MES. MES is like a Monetary Authority of Singapore. They basically are the central bank in Singapore, basically that. So you have to have all these tests, and I have to be qualified with all this. So that's where I think it was not easy from the start, because when it comes to wealth, people are generally more sensitive, and you have to gain trust. And it's not easy to gain trust so easily as well, especially during the first meetup, right? But I realized that as long as we are sincere, as long as we value add clients, as long as we know what we are doing, we are competent in it, we are resourceful with whatever advice that we're dispensing, and whatever steps that we're dispensing, whatever advisory that we are dispensing to the clients, it is practical and people understand it. Because there's no point telling all the jargons and all the complicated terms, right? Because if the clients don't understand, then they are full of doubts. But if they understand what you're trying to say and what you're trying to do in terms of planning for their wealth portfolio, they will definitely refer people. So that's where, this is how my business grow. Clients refer their friends, their family members even, and their colleagues. So to me, I think that is really the greatest honor that I can have from the client themselves, where they trust in my services, not only trust, but they take a further step to refer people. Because as with every business, we need to stay afloat, right? As with every business out there, we need to have transactions, we need to have businesses from clients. And some clients, they may not see this, right? They may see that, oh, it's just like when you like a specific food, you would tend to keep going back, right? But can you imagine if one day you don't go back and nobody goes back to that same store? The store cannot sustain, the store will close. Then they will no longer be good food. So sometimes we also need, in a way, to help out, in a way, find wealth entrepreneurs, wealth planners, wealth managers, in a sense, to give them a chance to review wealth portfolio for us, so that we too clients can also gain from it. It's a win-win situation. Not only can your wealth grow, at the same time, the businesses and clients' wealth portfolio will grow as well. I think, to me, right, the most important goal for me in that sense is the successes of my clients' wealth portfolio. Everything else is second, right? Everything else is secondary. That is the main thing. Because if we, in our entrepreneurial role, if we keep chasing after the successes of our own, or I win this award, I win that award, or I'm driving this, I'm living in a big house. I think all these are temporarily, and all these are very, in a way, materialistic. I don't like to go towards that direction. I like to go to the direction where I'm able to value add clients. I'm able to see that the clients can retire very, very comfortably, and I'm able to make sure that the families' financial gaps and financial coverage are filled up. I think, to me, that is really it makes me happy, to put it very in simple words. It makes me happy, it makes me feel satisfied, and it keeps me going, it keeps me motivated. This business has been around for 5 years. It's not very long, neither is it very short. I think in a short 5 years, with the achievements and with the clients that I have, roughly I have around 500 clients currently.
Wow.
So for the past 5 years, it was really thanking all my clients as well for referring through the word of mouth and referring their colleagues and friends to me. So in order for me to, in a way, value add them as well, right? So this continues on, right? It's just like paying it forward, right? So they have been a beneficiary of that, and that's where they want their friends to, in a way, be advised and be value added in the same way. So I think, talking about that cinema thing, you're right. I mean, it's not really a compulsory thing, but I love to see clients. I love to see the smiles on their faces. I love to hear their laughter in the cinema, because we're watching an animation, right? So I really love that. And and that's where really it gives me the sense of satisfaction. And I think, in terms of career, in terms of what you're going to head towards, it must give you that sense of achievement and that sense of satisfaction. Because if it doesn't, then it's difficult for you to move on, right? You must find a value and a purpose in that. It's not just about money when it comes to career. It must be the impact and the difference that you make. Now, to me, I picture this, right? I picture, in the event of, in the future of my funeral wake, what's going to be the turnout like? Are people going to come and, throw eggs at you? Or are people coming to say praises of you, to say good things about you? Good things, not in terms of surface level, but good things because they know that you make a difference in life.
Right. Okay. Wow, you shared a lot of things that is really, really very powerful, okay, in terms of how to run a business. Okay, you mentioned that, okay, it's not about you, right? It's not about your successes, right? And not about winning awards, but I still see you winning awards all the time. It's because of the fact that you don't focus on the awards, you don't focus on, you focus on your clients, that they win, you win, right?
Correct.
So I think that's very powerful.
Yeah.
How do you cultivate that that type of seeing things, right? Not from your put yourself in other people's shoes. How do you cultivate that type of attitude, even when you're younger or you haven't even stepped into the career? Yeah.
I think listening is important. I think having empathy is also important in my line of work, because we listen and we hear from clients and we listen. So the more we listen and the more we hesitate to speak, jump into conclusion and speak, we realize that whatever that we hear, we understand more. And we understand not only from our own perspective, we understand from the person's perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that is important, right? And I think when it comes to conversation, it's not just you talking, you doing most of the talking. I think there must be some way of interaction and exchange of ideas, which is which is going to be helpful for the whole conversation and the whole discussion of their wealth planning to be successful.
Okay.
And to continue what I say, right? I mean, having awards are just byproducts of your efforts and of your motivation and of your sincerity in their wealth portfolio planning. And that is all I ask, really, in my career.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I truly resonate with everything you say. Because like for me, I step out into the entrepreneur journey as well.
Yeah.
So I remember the first few months or a year, it was so difficult because your mind keep thinking, how am I going to survive?
Exactly.
Stepping out from a 9 to 5 where you get regular pay, right? Suddenly you got no more pay. So that tend to cloud the person starting off.
The fear.
Yeah, fear. But it's only after you start to convert, that thing, right, towards your client, towards serving them, helping them win. Then the breakthrough comes, in a sense. So when you share about listening, I totally agree. So for young guys out there, if you're listening, if you want to develop one habit, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to follow Eilton's footstep, right? You want to be an entrepreneur, right? Develop your listening skills, listening to the needs out there. You find a need, right? You find an opportunity, how you can serve, right?
Exactly. And not just listening, right? You also need to ask correct questions. You need to ask, I won't say correct. I would say you ask meaningful questions.
Okay.
Don't ask questions for the sake of buying time. Don't ask questions for the sake of asking to make yourself sound, clever or wise. It's not about that. I think the more you listen, sometimes clients don't know what to ask or how to phrase. And by asking back, right, you're able to probe further to understand what a client is eventually and it's asking after all.
Okay.
So I think that is also important. I think it's a two-way street. And when it comes to
no,
go ahead, please.
Give me an example of how we should ask questions. Okay, not just in a career or in a business setting, right? But when we are talking to friends or something, like, how do we sincerely ask questions to, get that rapport, get that?
I think a lot of times we must listen with context. We must understand the person's background. We must also understand why the person is making such a comment. Because sometimes when people voice out or they say a certain statement, we may judge them prematurely. We may just suss the person out, and we may just in a way judge the person in that sense. So if that happens, then it clouds your mind, right? It clouds your mind, and it gives you that a certain level of biasness and biasness against that particular person. And whatever that they're gonna say, right, it doesn't really make sense anymore because you are already judging that person. So I think for me, I take a step back. Whatever comments that I nearly blurt out, I will just hold it in, and then I will just digest a little bit more by asking a few more questions to understand why is the person asking. And through that, you can really find out what is the original intention and what is the person trying to ask or trying to say in that sense. So I think we must also listen with empathy. I think that's also important. And also ask questions that is straight to the point. Asking leading questions that can also help. suggesting questions that will also help in that sense. I always think that listening and talking skills are very important.
Right. Okay.
Really. It's not so much of a fluency of the language, because we are not poets, right? We're not linguists, right?
Yeah.
I think it's more of the content of what we say. Nowadays, when you scroll through the social media, it's full of contents that is very I don't know, it doesn't have really deep meaning. So I think in our conversations with friends, we need to really put that in, because that 2 years of COVID-19 has caused really the social distancing, and you realize that there's this pent up frustration of not talking, right? So because humans we are designed to talk, right? We're designed to also listen. In fact, we need to listen more, right, than we talk. That's why 2 ears versus 1 mouth, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So because of that, I think we need to really have a very sincere conversations with friends, with our loved ones, especially with our parents. That is important, because there is definitely generation gap, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes when clients or when parents or when relatives who are much older, sometimes they may talk a bit more louder. They may talk a bit more, in a way, more rude. But that doesn't really mean that they are that way, right? It's just that sometimes they do not know how to communicate in the bestest way, in the more, but they're so used to it, right? You can't really change how they talk, right? The mannerism and all that. But the more important part is to take in the content.
Correct.
To filter out the noise, take in the content. And through the content, you're able to, in a way, understand the person even more. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Good. I think your parents are like your first relationships, right? You are born into this world. That's your first relationship. So guys, practice at home, okay? Before you start your entrepreneur journey, before any big dreams that you may have, your first relationships, right? Learn to listen and learn to develop a empathetic heart, okay, to find out why people say what they say.
Yes.
I like it. It just reminds me, even this morning, okay, someone actually just asked me a question. You know what's the first thing that came to my mind? How can you ask such a question? Okay, of course I didn't say it out.
You keep it yourself.
I keep it yourself, because after 52 years of living, right, I realized that it's wiser to ask, why do you feel that way? You know? So I've been practicing that, but it's very natural for us to make that judgment. So I think that's really good key that you have given to us.
You said something interesting also. Sorry, I cut you. You said something very interesting about you changing job, right? From a full-time employee to an entrepreneur. So same position, same boat altogether. I have my doubts, right? I have my fear, right? Because I have a family, right? And okay, by then Lucas was not yet born. So it's just me and my wife, Shameen. So obviously I have a certain level of responsibility, right? Financially as well. Because I'm a husband and all that. I need to, bring the bacon back and all those things. So I think the fear will definitely be there. But if you are consumed by the fear, then we will never move on. So for me, how I deal with it is that I just tell myself there is no plan B. This is the only way. Because a lot of times we tend to have plan B, plan C, plan D, being Singaporeans, right? Being Asians maybe, right? And we have all this contingency planning. Nothing wrong with all those things, but sometimes that itself will, in a way, corrupt our motivation and determination. Because if we tell ourselves we have a backup, then we might just fall back to the backup.
Right.
Like if you realize there are entrepreneurs that are not very educated, but they graduate from the school of hard knocks, from the society. You realize that because they don't have any degree to back them up, they don't have any qualifications to back them up, they just go all the way.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. What I'm saying is not don't go to school, right? What I'm saying is if you want to do something, just complete it totally. If you don't want to complete it, don't even start that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that is at least for me.
Yeah. So you're saying that even it's not about having a paper or formal education, right? It's about that dream and that passion to go for it and be single-minded. Okay.
Yes.
To pursue it. And then and you have single-mindedly pursue your finance dream. Since the time, your IT dream didn't turn out, and it's okay. It's okay.
No, the IT wasn't really a dream per se. I just liked it. I didn't know what else to choose.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So IT was the way back then, lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because I
Okay
think
to
when you are
switch.
young, we will never know what
Yes.
we will be going after, right? So we
Yeah.
always have to
Yeah.
dream as much
Yes.
as we can, and then we pursue it. Then finally, I think your real dream will surface, right? And
Yes.
then go for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't need to sort of ask permission. Don't need to say that you know, you are not old enough, not young enough, not tall enough, or you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever it is, right? Just
Yeah.
go for it and
Go for it. But of course, if you have mentors around you that
Mm.
will talk to you and explain to you, I mean, obviously, don't let them put you down, right? Sometimes because they haven't. No, it's funny, right? Sometimes we ask entrepreneurial tips from a non-entrepreneur.
Okay, yeah.
It's funny, right? We ask a full-time employee advice when it comes to setting up businesses.
Okay.
Guess what? What are they going to reply you? Oh, don't go for that.
Cannot,
You know,
better
cannot, better not. You see, I didn't do it. See, that's why now I okay.
Okay,
You know, so if that were to happen, I mean, choosing who to talk to is also important, lah, right?
Okay, yes.
You also want to talk to
even
people
parents, right? Don't buy Yakult. Okay, don't buy. So
exactly.
okay,
Yeah,
understand.
I mean, yeah. So that's the part where I think the younger you are, the more you can fail because you have a longer runway, you have lesser commitment, you have youth on your side. So what if you fail, right? You can always pick yourself up again, retry a new thing, or try again with the same domain, try again with the same skill. If not, you know, do other things. It's okay. But I think at the end of the day, we need to be able to pivot very well. Pivot due to the circumstances we are in. Not everything is airy-fairy, not everything is dreamy, and everything will go through smoothly and successfully. Yeah. I also have my downtimes, right? I also have, you know, clients that don't really appreciate my advisory, and that's fine. I move on, right? I don't dwell in it. I don't pity party, right? So I moved on. Why? Because I know that someone out there would cherish my advisory.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm always constantly look out for people who cherish that and take that and to make a difference in their life. So that's what I focus on. I don't focus on the part where it's a bit discouraging in my career. I will focus on that part, and that drives me.
Yeah. Okay, that's a powerful point about handling rejection.
And at the same time, not to rest on my laurels. The successes that I have, the awards that I have, I don't remember them. I don't keep them in mind, and I don't go around telling people about those. But that forms as a certain level of motivation. But I think at the end of the day, if you're focused on the individual clients, that you are going to make a big positive difference in them, then all these things will only come naturally and year on year, right? Consistency is also important. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Okay, so always look ahead and not look back. Okay, that's very wonderful. Wow, time flies. Okay, we are already 1 hour in.
Oh, really? Well, what is supposed to be the length of your video?
Yeah, I didn't want it to be more than 1 hour. So,
oops,
but we're almost 1 hour, but it's fine because we came in earlier. I'm going to edit the earlier part, so we still have a little bit more time. Okay, I maybe to end this conversation. I think, Eilton, you have brought so much, you know, to share to my audience about a lot about the entrepreneurial journey. And I don't think I have somebody like you before share this in that kind of real life, real, you know, where the going gets the rubber meets the road type of advice, you know. So I thank you for that. So as you have said, right, if you want to be an entrepreneur, don't go to a non-entrepreneur, right? So go to an entrepreneur. So if let's say people who have listened in, right, want to look for a mentor, look for somebody, okay, maybe not like full-time mentor, somebody to just give them some advice, right?
Yes.
How do people look for you? Okay, where do they go? And maybe also some people may want to follow your footstep in your line of career lah. So, you know, how do they look for you?
You can find me on Facebook. My name is there, Eilton Ho, EILTONHO. Yeah. Or you can find me on Facebook page, Eilton Ho Wealth Management. Or you can find me on Instagram as well. Just Eilton will do. So EILTON. That's my handle.
Okay. And Ho is HO, right?
HO. You just in fact, you just Google my name, you'll see me.
Okay, can. Anyway, I will also leave in the description. Okay, just send me, you know, however people can contact you. So we will put it there. So okay, thank you for your time. Before we go, okay, you have shared so many good nuggets, right? So I want to give you opportunity to share. If you have just one more thing to share, and one final encouragement to people who want to follow your footsteps, either as an entrepreneur or as a finance wealth management manager, okay, how what will you give to them?
I think nobody wants to fail, right? But not everybody wants to win.
Not everybody wants to win. Okay.
You get it?
Yep.
So always choose to win. Always choose the route of success. When I say that, I think a lot of times we want to achieve something, we want to achieve our goals, but our actions, our daily habits does not reflect that. Right? It doesn't reflect that at all. So obviously nobody want to lose, nobody want to fail in a career, nobody want to fail in a business.
Yeah.
But not everyone is taking steps towards the success of their businesses to win.
Yeah. Okay.
So really, I think it must be a sweet balance between your own leisure, your own self-care, your own mental wellness and all that versus that of driving yourself, motivating yourself to make the best out of your youth. I think that is important. If you ask me if I can go back in time, right, there's so many things that I want to do in my youth days. Yeah. And it's not as if it's very free, but I would say that I would want to explore even more things. Like back in youth, I explored diving. My parents also cautioned me against that. I just went ahead and took it because I was an adult already, right? I was an adult. Yeah. So I also went ahead and took my bike license, my motorbike license, also against my parents' wishes. But I promised them I will never buy a bike.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a compromise. I took the license. I didn't buy a bike at all.
Okay.
Maybe in the future, right? But now, no, not really. Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Okay. I like it. Dream. Have a winning mentality, right? Not everyone wants to win, is it? Not everyone. Everyone don't want to lose.
Nobody wants to lose, right? But not everyone wants to win.
Yeah. So our encouragement to everyone listening, right? Win. Okay. Develop this habit of wanting to win so that you can pursue, what you're meant to do. Okay, in this side of heaven, and just pursue whatever dream you have. Do not be fearful. Go look out for mentors, look out for people that they will encourage you in your journey. And I like Eilton throughout this whole episode. He talks about community, consulting the elders, parents. You want to pursue your dream by making deal with your parents. You can do this, but not this. And yeah, he brought very sort of balanced perspective, okay, into our journey of pursuing our dreams. So we are very grateful, Eilton. High five. And thank you, Virtual Five, and thanks for taking your time to join us. Okay, we hope to invite you again when the right time comes. Okay.
Yes, please.
and say yes immediately, so that we don't have to wait for a few more months. No. You're a busy person. We appreciate it. Of course. Okay.
Yeah, always happy. Can we take a screenshot?
Yeah, sure.
You take.
I don't know how to take. I'm not very technical. Okay, I try.
Just the screenshot button on the keyboard.
No. I usually do the one with the alternate F one. No, the 4 one, so that I can size
save it.
Screen. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Smile. 1, 2, go. Okay. With that, thanks you everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Yeah.
So I really cut, I really leave.
Yeah, you really leave.
Yes. Okay, you take care, bro.
Okay, take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks so much.
The time starts now. Go!